Good morning, traders. Today is Tuesday, September 27th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. All right, well, not much to report here before the market open. Pretty much, I'm expecting chop. Same exact thing I said yesterday. Just go ahead and rewatch that first 5 minutes again today, and that's pretty much how I see it. So same as before, I'm expecting the market to just grind up and down for the first few hours today. And how we react when we test the overnight high and the overnight low will give us insights moving forward. But as long as we're inside the overnight range, as long as we're inside yesterday's range, we can just expect more chop up and down. Okay? It is the tale of two markets this morning in the fact that yesterday, the ES continued to trend lower. The definition of that being that it had a lower high and a lower low, and value was overlapping to lower. So that is the sign that the momentum to the downside is still in the market, which is bearish. Also, the fact that it was, for the most part, a sort of rotational day, even though it was trending lower on the daily, it was balancing intraday. That could give it steam for continuation lower this morning. But then the contradictory story to that would be the NQ, who made a higher high and a higher low yesterday and had value engulfing the previous day's value. So what does that tell us? That potentially the trend on the NQ could be over and the market could be looking to go sideways or higher today. So you got the ES saying the highest probability is continuation lower, and you got the NQ saying, well, who knows? We got to wait and see. So seeing that the ES traded inside yesterday's range in the overnight just tells me there's no leadership in this market. No one is in charge, and we ought expect a lot of chop. So I'm not looking for any trades early on in the day here. If we can break the overnight high, that is good for a trade to yesterday's high. It's not a very big trade, but that is good to test yesterday's high. And then if we can get above yesterday's high and find support, it's good for continuation higher. But until one of those two things happens, my assumption is we would just poke up here and come right back down. Get ready for chop. Lots of chop. 7-mile reach NQ broke the overnight high. Yes, it did. That's bullish. So if they can find support here, they can test yesterday's high. If they can get above yesterday's high and find support, that is bullish for continuation. Doesn't matter if you're trading the ES, though. Remember what they did yesterday. The NQ looked like it was going to take off to the moon, and the ES just pulled right back down. So treat each market as its own thing. Right now, the ES is in a chop zone. Expect chop. Okay, with the fact that the overnight inventory was net long and we got no counter auction whatsoever, they're keeping the ticks above the 1,000 level. That's sort of a warning sign to me. Although you would think it should be bullish, it's actually a sign that this is FOMO buying. Stronger hands buyers would have given the market a chance to absorb that overnight inventory before going long. So this is likely FOMO buyers. What is the behavior of FOMO buyers? If they don't get what they're expecting right away, they instantly quit. So I assume they're trying to get up above the overnight high. If they can't, they will quit, and we'll be back at the opening price very, very quickly. Mateus, yesterday 2.0. No way to know, my friend. Let's see what happens. Can we get above the overnight high? If so, can we get above yesterday's high? If so, do we do what we did yesterday and just fail and pull back in? In which case, yes, a repeat of yesterday. But if we find support up here, well then no, the market's doing something new. And your guess is as good as mine as to which will happen once we get there. All right, NQ above yesterday's high. That is bullish. Bullish for continuation. Next major resistance around 11,589. Again, I would just caution anyone who's trading the ES, don't trade the ES because of something the NQ is doing. Wait for the ES. Okay, so now can we get support at the overnight high to test, or well, there's the test of yesterday's high. So now can we find support here, or do we get a look above and fail? All right, so with the failure to find support at the overnight high, it increases the odds the market needs to pull down, looking for support. The first level I'm interested in is half back at 37.18. Can they find support there? If not, down by the opening price. All right, testing halfback. Do we get support here? Or does the chop continue? All right, well, we're getting support at the halfback, so I am now bullish to try to break out to the upside here, to try to get above yesterday's high. As long as we can stay above that halfback, as long as that continues to act as support, I am bullish. If it were going to continue to chop, we should have pulled right back through that halfback pretty easily here. So the fact that there were buyers waiting tells us they want to, at the very least, try to take the market higher. And now it's a question of, will they bring in enough people to do it? All right, here's the test once again. Oh, no. Yep, still chopping. My bad, guys. 'Twas early. Um, Skewball, it's not chop. It's a look above and fail of a balance area. That's possible, but that's basically the same thing as chop, right? It just means that we're heading down until we find support, which is exactly what a look above and fail of a balance area is. It just means we didn't have the buyers to take the market higher. So we got to bring it back down looking for more. So now, of course, the question is, was that enough? Did we just need to get back to the opening price? Finding out how the market reacts to the halfback once again as potential resistance now should give us a clue. See, I disagree with you on the target. I don't see it as a look above and fail that will get all the way to the opposite end. I could just as easily see it finding support at 96 or 89 or anywhere along the way and then heading up to break out. But at this exact moment, we're both right. So let's wait it out. All right, resistance at the halfback is holding. That is confirmation we don't have the buyers at the opening price. And we likely need to pull the market back down a little further. Looking for support between 3,700 and 3,690. Okay, buyers keep stepping in here at the opening price. It's a very exact level, and they're not really getting anything for it. So we assume those are short-term traders since they're buying exactly at the open. And the fact that they're not getting anything for it means that if it breaks, if we start to pass back through the opening price again, we're likely to get a little bit of a liquidation as we squeeze all these buyers right now. For them to succeed, they'd have to be able to push back up through the halfback once again. So the battle is being fought. Okay, there's the liquidation of those buyers from the opening price. So now we are looking for support basically in this node right here where the overnight spent all this time between 36.99 and 36.90 for more chop. Good times. All right, Scooball's right. Look above and fail of a balance area. There's no support in here. Roman, very little of this has anything to do with buyers or sellers. They goes the DXY up and down all day long to manipulate the index prices and take as much traders' money as they can. What you're looking at is not a causation, right? The ES doesn't go up and down because the dollar goes up and down, okay? They all affect one another. That's the same macroeconomic things that are affecting the price of the dollar compared to other, fiat currencies, and the thing that affects the value of stocks and the probability that they will be, that individual companies will have good balance sheets in a year or whatever, right? It's all different. And so what you might see that when stocks go up, bonds go down, or when the dollar goes up, stocks go down, or, you may see that when commodities are going up, bonds are going down, or you may notice things like that. But that's not why the thing happens. Those moves it's not like there's some big wizard that's like, purely trading the FX markets, pushing the price of the dollar around for the purpose of controlling the stock market. Like that, it doesn't work like that at all. It just so happens, coincidentally, the same things that are having an effect on the stock market today, the same new information, the same data, the same press releases, all the same stuff has an effect on both the stock market and the dollar, and for different reasons. So 100%, make no mistake. The movement that the stock market makes on a day is based on the buyers and sellers of the stock market that day. Now, what convinces those people to buy and sell might also convince them to buy or sell commodities or gold or, treasuries or whatever, right? They might choose to buy or sell other things, but they're not buying or selling stocks because of what's happening to those other things. They're buying or selling stocks because they want to own stocks, So what does all that mean? Charles, why do you care? Why are you bringing this up? Well, what I have found in my experience, and I can only speak from my own personal experience, that it is significantly easier to trade the market you are trading rather than trying to assume other markets will affect it. So people that try to trade the ES based on what the NQ does are going to be wrong more often than people that trade the ES based on what the ES does. People who trade the ES based on what the dollar is doing are going to be wrong more often than people that trade the ES based on what the ES is doing. That is my opinion. So watch the market you trade. It will give you all the information you need. Everything that you need to know about the ES is already priced into the ES. And right now it's telling me no support, which increases the odds we need to pull back further. Don't need to know what the dollar's doing. The ES can tell me what's going on. Kevin, thank you for the sub. Welcome. Scott, perma bears? No. A bear market's a bear market. That's what I was thinking this morning when I logged in and I was looking at the daily. And I was just thinking to myself, like, man, what a violent move we've made on the daily. Just one tiny little bit of balance and then more excess. And then I thought to myself, it's really not that unusual. We used to see it all the time, just on the way up. not the way down. So we just got ourselves a bear market here. That's all. It's acting just like a bull market in the other direction. Mateus, so selling rips or more chop? Well, that's the thing. It's dealer's choice, you know? So the look above and fail increases the odds that we're heading down towards the opposite end. But the chop zone, the fact that we're inside the overnight range, which was inside the previous day's range, just means we can find support literally anywhere. So are we probably heading down here towards the lows of yesterday? Yes, we are. Is it probably going to be a very difficult to stay in sort of chop on the way down where it'll go down and come back up and go down and come back up? Yes, it probably will. So I would trade this as a chop zone. Look for take your profits very, very quickly. Don't fall in love with the trade, because it can reverse on you at any moment. And every time it does, it'll feel scary. So for example, if you wanted to sell this resistance right here, you might look to just take profits right in this first node of support rather than looking to see, can it get lower? Or take partial profits and hold a runner, move your stop below your entry, that type of thing. Scott, CNBC told me to buy the dip and then to also buy the rip and then buy the dip, buy the smaller rip, buy their subscription, buy the dip. You must be talking about Jim Cramer's new Traders Club or whatever. Every day first off, the best part about that is he talks about all the calls he makes on the TV show. So why anybody pays for the service, I have no clue. But every day he's like, so I was telling my subscribers on my service this morning, we got a da-da-da. And then it turns out to have been totally wrong by the end of the day. It's like, why do people keep paying for the service? Oh, Scott, thank you for the reminder about book club. Book club is 2 days away. If you have not signed up yet, tradersbookclub.com. Just head there and put your email in on the email list. And you will get an invite on Wednesday to join the book club. We're talking Fooled by Randomness by the one and only Nassim Taleb, where he tells story after story after story of traders who thought that they had a guaranteed win, making money was so easy, but they didn't understand their risk and they got wiped out. Story after story of traders, career-long traders, blowing themselves up because they don't understand risk. So 777, what you're saying is the Queen is dead because of Jim Cramer? Sounds right. All right, support holds. So now we're heading up to test the resistance around the opening price once again. 3708-ish. Mark, my first day here. Love the channel. How do you find support and resistance? Thank you. Happy to have you. Well, there's the easy answer and the hard answer. The easy answer is it's generally wherever the most volume has traded in the past. So, for example, this area that was just acting as resistance that's now acting as support was support and resistance in the overnight. Right? So we would expect it to act as support or resistance once again. Same thing with this node here. It was support and resistance in the overnight. It was support and resistance yesterday. So we would expect for it to happen again. So the short answer is wherever the market has traded in the past, that is where you look for support and resistance in the future. And then there's also just something that's a bit more complex, which is just from experience, I can kind of tell where are areas that the market will find support in terms of, like I said, with the chop zone, right? How do I know not to see this as just super bearish and the market's just going to continue to trend lower? Oh my God, it's going to go down forever. Everyone be afraid. Well, no, I know it's a chop zone from experience, just from trading over and over, day after day. I just know that when you open where the overnight traded inside the previous day's range, picking where the market's going to reverse up and down on its way is nearly impossible. So I call that a chop zone. So I'm expecting the support and resistance to be at, these previous support and resistance levels because of volume. And I expect it will have a higher probability of working because we're in a chop zone. And there's going to be sellers waiting everywhere and buyers waiting everywhere. Okay, back to the open price, looking for resistance. I have a feeling this is a news bot with the tempo. Oh, great. Bullard's talking. Fantastic. There is a risk of recession. Thanks for letting us know. Mr. Gaylord, the 29th will be another crash. Thank me later. That's just a guess based on Ether staking becoming available. Do you mean Ethereum staking becoming available? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Ethereum is a tiny, tiny little market compared to the ES. There is no way it has any effect. Yes, please smash that like button. 201 people hanging out, but only 69 likes. I think we can break 100. I think there's 30 of you that are having a good time. We're 3 likes away. John Doe, is there a reason for the 15-minute candles on the tick chart? For me personally, I just always looked at the ticks that way because I always looked at the candlesticks as 15 minutes. And so I wanted to keep everything uniform on here so I could see it all moving together. You know, the way price moves, I could see how the ticks are reacting and so on and so forth. But I have no problem if you want to use lower time frames. If you want to use like the 5-minute or the 1 minute on the ticks, you totally can. I just preferred the 15-minute when I was trading with candlesticks, so I kept it that way. And now it's become a habit. Okay, so the resistance held, right? We pushed below, came back up, expected this to act as resistance. It did not. We pushed through. The next resistance held, so now the question is, does this become support? Do the buyers step in to head back up? If not, they're looking to take it lower. And they'll just keep chopping it up till someone wins and somebody loses. Taking your money, picking your pocket. Minster. But if Ether crashes, that means BTC did. If BTC crashes, what do you think that means? I think it means nothing. I don't think BTC affects the rest of the financial world at all. Exactly 0%. Now, if you were to say to me the Nasdaq crashing might cause Bitcoin to crash, then I could get on board with that as a potential idea. But Bitcoin causing Nasdaq? No, sir. The traders who are trading Bitcoin have hundreds of dollars to trade. The traders who are trading the Nasdaq have hundreds of millions of dollars. It's a totally different playing field. That's like saying, you know, the Yankees are going to be affected by some minor league team. It's like, no. All right. Well, with the printing of the C period, We have no really clear insights here. We're still stuck in a chop zone, and we are now inside the initial balance. So as far as what to expect moving forward, I would say expect a lot more chop, a lot more grinding around. Honestly, the break of the initial balance will be a great play today. If you can get above this node right around 37.21, you could look for support there for continuation higher. If you then break the initial balance to the upside, I would look for a gap fill up to 37.64. So things could get very, very bullish if we can get through that resistance around 21. If we break the initial balance to the downside, we break the B period low, I would target heading down to test these areas around yesterday and overnight lows, call it 36.70, and look for support there. If we don't get it and we break those lows, monitor for continuation lower. As long as, I know it's really annoying to say, but as long as we are still inside the overnight range, it's going to be incredibly difficult to predict moves. The market can flip in reverse, as it has been all morning, over and over and over again. So I urge you to trade with caution, trade small size, take profits quickly, and wait, be patient and wait for the better opportunity once the market picks a direction, one way or the other. With that, I bid you farewell. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you here tomorrow morning. If you're in the brigade, it's time to ride. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba.